Okay, hi everyone. And I guess welcome to this live stream about UMG pop-ups, and I'm probably gonna start the puzzle. Hi Roby. And so let's begin. First of all, we're gonna make a new folder inside the UMG folder for the pop-up, because we're probably gonna put some more assets in there, like more than likely some sound for the pop-up, probably some background images later on, etc. So create a folder for it. I'll be into user interface and widget blueprint, which we're gonna call pop-up. Alright, open that up. So what we want is we want an image, first of all. And actually we're also gonna need a panel, like so. We're gonna call it pop-up. And where are we gonna put? We're gonna put the image in it. So let's say we want our pop-up to be this big. Okay, I can't click the image anymore. Alright, so adjust the position, and we actually want it to fill the entire pop-up, so that when we scale the pop-up, it'll follow. So actually good. Now let's say we want a background color, something dark. So to color and opacity, let's just make it a nice dark gray. So it's really gonna stand out from all the colorful scenes. Okay, now we want editable text, so just type in yay. Now we're gonna make it a child of pop-up as well, and we're also gonna anchor it to be to fill up the entire thing, like so. Maybe even a little bit less, and have it size to content. Well, let's see. Let's make it bigger. Oh, and canvas panel should also size to content. Is it even possible? I guess not. What other primitive could we use? Hi Pumpkin. Yeah, can I actually get rid of? Okay, image cannot have any children, so I really need a panel or some kind. So let's go ahead and try the border. Oh, and the border already have a background, so I don't need, I don't need the image anymore. Okay, cool. So now about that border. Color and opacity. That ain't doing anything. Okay. Yay, that was tint. Cool, okay. Now can we get that text to be... Yay, finally. Excellent. Now editable text. Padding should be 5, 5, like that. Okay, now border, can I have its size to content? Yes. Excellent. Is enabled, yes. Okay, so now if I type something else in there, like this is a test, the pop-up should scale up. Now compared to the screen size, that's a tiny bit small, so how about I make the text bigger? Going to style, font, something like 24, then compile to update it. And this looks more reasonable, but still a tiny bit small, so let's it's 32. Okay, that looks reasonable. Now I need to figure out why it is grayed out like that. No, I don't want any outline. Is enabled, yes. Okay, I don't know why it's grayed out. Yeah, Pumpkin, that could be a good idea, changing her name. But okay, I'll figure out later why it's staying gray. This is not the point of this live stream. So let's call it text. Pretty straightforward, huh? Now border needs to be a variable as well, I believe. And okay, we can now border, anchor it to the middle right, alignment X should be 1, 0.5 for the Y, and let's say we put all that to 0. This is gonna be where our pop-up is gonna be. Let's say leave it margin of oops. of -10 or -15. Something like that should be where our pop-up is. Now if I update the text to be longer, it automatically keeps that offset and gets longer. Okay. So, okay, so I guess the first thing we want to do is add animation. I guess that'll be visibility. Okay, no, what I want is opacity. Pivot, padding, horizontal alignment, content color. Hey, I could actually have this size scale X and Y. Oh yeah. So let's say that here on the X I want 0, and after, let's say, almost a second, I want it back to 1. It should stretch like that. And that would be our fade in animation for when the pop-up appear. Now, can we actually add sound in there? And hey, I'm actually gonna go ahead and delete that. Here, yep. And at 1 second, here I'll make it 1.2, and then back to 1 here. So it should just have a little more interesting. So let's say this is our animation. Can we go into event construct, play anim, target would be self, yes, user with get reference, that is self, and then fade in is the animation we want to play. Start time 0, number of 1, forward, speed should remain to 1. Hi Eggman. And then I guess we should add a delay. And here the delay can be as long as we want, but I'll make it 3 seconds. And then I'll remove from parent self. Alright, so every time we spawn the blueprint, it'll play the animation, and then it'll wait 3 seconds and remove the pop-up. Now I don't know if it's gonna actually wait for the animation to be finished to trigger the delay or not, but we're gonna find out. Let's say we go into our default map, which is getting pretty full right now. Player pawn. Just for test purposes, we're gonna add it to a key. Would be to create widget. Of class pop-up. Hey Pumpkin, about the flexible tiles, I'm actually waiting on the physic flex thingy to be integrated in the engine by default, so I don't have to download a super old version of the engine and compile it myself. And then hopefully the flex plugin from NVIDIA Physics can allow me to do soft tiles. And hi Martin. And yeah, go ahead, Iggy Man, about that question, even though it's about vehicle. Oh, and viewport. Okay, so this bit of code here actually creates the blueprint, well, creates a reference to it, then get the text, which is the name of this here, and then set the text of it to whatever we want, and then add it to viewport. Now, add to viewport automatically triggers the event construct on top of displaying the UMG on screen, and so it should play our animation automatically. Eggyman, may I ask you exactly how many polygons you consider to be a high poly? Alright, so you can see the pop-up in action here. This is a test, and it disappears after 3 seconds. So no, it is not waiting for the animation to be finished before triggering the delay, so it's cool. I know how long the animation is, so not a problem. You can see it's a little glitchy though. That is because of one thing. It's because our border has a scale of 1 when it starts. Can I actually adjust the scale here to be, yes, desired size scale X should be 0 when it begins. Yay. So doing this got rid of the glitch, if we want to call it like that. So That's a pretty cool pop-up animation. Boop. So we can use that pop-up to display whatever information we want on the screen. That'll be useful for the puzzle element, like I stated in the previous video. And oh Christ, yeah, 4 million polygon is pretty high poly. Yeah, that's right. I actually get all of my vehicle 3D model from the internet. I can give you a link to the website I use, even though I'm not too sure it's going to be really useful to you, but that's the one I use. There it is in the chat. Now it's entirely in Russian, or I think it's Russian, it might be something else, but it looks like the Cyrillic alphabet. Anyway, you'll have to create an account, and it's free, and you'll be able to download all the models. And most of them are really good looking, even while keeping, you know, reasonable poly count. So, okay, back into the UMG stuff. Now that the pop-up is finished, we can actually use it. So, what I wanted was to start the puzzle thingy. I guess the first thing I'll need is an object I can actually push with the ball. Yeah, Turbo Squid is nah, not so I don't like it so much. I'm not gonna talk shit about it, but I don't know, the way it works and all, and the fact that all the models have to be paid for, and yeah, I don't use it. So puzzle element, let's see. Let's say create a cube, just your regular cube. Now it looks about the right size. Oh, cool, pumpkin. So it is Russian, as I thought. Okay. Because it could have been a few other languages, I guess, like Ukrainian. Also use the same alphabet, minus a few letters, I believe, that were added in Russian. But anyway. Alright, so that looks to be about the right size for a box I could push around. And I'm gonna have to stop playing in standalone because it's taking way too long. Okay, so let's create a static mesh of that box. Environment into puzzle, and that'll be static mesh box. Physic. And how about I simulate? Oh, I can't simulate physic unless I have collisions. So add box simplified collisions. Okay. Now I should be able to give it some physics. Yep, it just fell to the ground. Now can I push it? Alright, it does have a lot of friction, I believe. So I may have to create a new physical material, and probably a new material altogether, just to let the player know that this object can be pushed around. So we'll do that. So that'll be movable. Yeah, well, yeah, Material movable. Now what color should the movable actor be? Constant 3 vector. What color? Oh, did we use pink yet? Oh, we used purple for the trampoline, I think. Yeah, we're not really using the trampoline anyway, so. Alright, that'll be the color of the objects you can push. Now don't hate me, I'm just running out of colors, so material, movable, that'll be it. Now we need to create a new physical material for that. That'll have almost no friction. And hear me when I say almost. Surface type, ground, okay. So let's just go back to puzzle. That'll be movable, slippery. Awesome. So I guess we want override friction combine mode. Use the minimum, and that'll be 0.5, I guess. We're gonna try it like that. And restitution 0.3. Looks good. Okay, so physical material should be movable, slippery. Save that. And now can I push that around? I can push it around very easily. Or I could push it around very easily. Yeah, 0.5 might be a little too much, I guess. Minimum, so it's always going to use the smallest value. So let's pretend put it at 0.1. That is much easier. Yeah, okay. Too easy, actually. Yeah, way too easy, okay. So let's make something in between. Yeah, that looks better. A little bit. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Now, remove that input. This is a test, blah blah blah. Alright, we don't need that anymore. Okay, so now that we have an object that we can push around and use to trigger switches, we actually need a switch. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna create another static mesh, which could be a cylinder for all that I know. And which I could go into. Oh. Alright, now the big question is how to select all of these bottom ones. Because mouse button are all moving the camera, so I can't really have a selection box or anything. But luckily I've only done 32 faces. So I'm just gonna select the 32 vertices, like so. Oops. I guess I can also select edges, which I don't want. Not that I select anything else. Nope. Good. Oh yeah, of course, and the transformation gizmo isn't centered. Outer radius. Nope. Okay, I guess I can't select only these edges and make it some kind of cone. Might have to do that in 3ds Max actually. So yeah, whatever. I'll just make it almost flat. Oh, and I actually don't need any collisions on it, so and okay, yeah, we're ready to create static mesh for that. Alright, that's our platform. We're gonna have to good, we're not gonna create collisions on it actually. Okay, now create a blueprint. Extend it from actor, and that'll be trigger platform blueprint. Trigger platform. Now add a static mesh, which is going to be the root. Static mesh is going to be the platform. Static mesh platform, right there. The material, I guess, should be the pink material to let us know this is something we can interact with. And I should also have a, I guess it'll have to be a capsule. Half height should be, let's say 200. And radius should be 100. Something like that. We don't want it to be exactly the size of the platform because we want to force the object to be you know, on top of the platform a little bit at least. So okay, cool. And so the first thing we want to do is uncomponent, begin overlap, other actor, get tags, contains, plugin. And if it's true, we're gonna display the pop-up. So we're just gonna cut and paste this bit of blueprint here, like so. So pop-up, the text of that pop-up should be you must place something here. I guess that could be informative enough as a pop-up. And then it'll simply delete itself after 3 seconds, so we don't have anything else to do. I'm just gonna play it with a P, capital P, okay. Alright, so I should be ready to put that platform on the scene, like so. And voila, you must place something here. And I believe that's a little small, actually. Or the platform is, at least. So good. Alright, so you really have to be near the center for it to pick it up. And if we push the cube in it, it shouldn't do anything. Like that. Okay. So I guess just for purpose of a test, we're gonna give this tag. Just make sure the trigger is picking it up correctly. So what kind of tag could we use? Movable. Whoops. Okay. Now I do notice that I did a little mistake there. Good. So now if it's false, we're gonna need another branch. See if it contains. Okay, copy and paste was a bad idea. Always. Contains. See, if I copy and paste it, I don't have that box anymore. And if it's true, we're gonna print something to the screen. Yeah, hello should be good enough. So let's push that box. And it does not say hello. Okay, yeah, it's probably collision, generate overlap events, yeah. So we're gonna have to make that box a blueprint just to make sure you don't have to do that every time you place see, now it's picking it up. Hello. Voila. So now we could play a sound or change the material of the platform to let the player know that he successfully did that action, that something should happen somewhere, at least. So B trigger platform. The platform should change material. Set material element 0. The new material should be, I don't know, ball material. And I'm gonna record a few sounds before the next video, just to be able to use them at some places. Good. Now it just turned green to let the player know that he placed that little cube properly. Okay, and now we need capsule and component end overlap. Stops overlapping, yeah. Now, if tags contain movable, you set the material back. Set the material back to movable. Okay. Awesome. So now it's green because the key is in there, and now it goes back to pink because it's not activated anymore because the box isn't onto it. Alright, so we can now use these to do something else than change the material. First of all, I believe this should only be done once, and it shouldn't happen every time. So we'll add a do once. And it's never gonna tell us again. Good. And also before we do that, we're gonna make sure that the box isn't on it. So we'll need a Boolean value is activated, which is going to be false by default. Yeah, false. And now we're going to set it to true when the movable object is on it, and set it to false when it's not on it. And here we're going to use that value, so is activated. And we're only going to display the message if it's false. And because we do that, we could actually remove the do once. Alright, so because it is activated, it does not tell me. And now it's not activated anymore, so it tells me again, you should place something here. Okay. Marvelous. And that looks good. Okay, so we now have these two states that we can use. And I guess the next thing we need is a usable master class to have something to be triggered from that trigger. Okay, we're gonna new folder, do a little bit of cleanup in there. New folder, materials. Okay, good. And before I go any further, yes, I need to make a blueprint for the box. And so that should be BP movable cube. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna add a static mesh, which is gonna be the root, and which is gonna be our box physics. Yes, enable gravity, simulate physics, onto collision, generate overlap and hit events. Awesome. Default material will be movable. Awesome. I need to go in the tags, make it movable. And so all these steps I just did mean you can place that cube on the map and you won't have to do these steps anymore every single time you place a cube on the map, right? And it does not pick it up anymore. Okay. Other actor. Generate overlap event. Component tags instead of actor tags. Okay, that's my bad. I added the tag onto the static mesh component instead of adding it onto the actor. And so the trigger platform was looking for actor tags and not component tags, so it wasn't picking up the box. And this is a really basic stuff to know. Voila, now this is working and you don't have to do all these steps anymore, and you can just place the cube on the map. Okay, now that green is pretty flashy, but that does the trick. And I guess I could actually add a few more variables to the trigger. Add new variable. So actor reference, editable, expose and spawn. So trigger actor, you can pick that box. Yay. Okay. And you can make sure that the other actor equal the trigger actor. Instead of containing a tag, we want it to be one specific actor, like so. And same thing here actually. Yay. it, so it still works. But the thing is, if I now place a second cube, that cube won't do anything. See? Okay. Yeah, Aggie man, about that Russian website, I had to use Google Translate to translate every single step of the registration. Because I don't speak a word of Russian. So yeah, you might have to use Google Translate as well. Okay, so I guess trigger, what I should do is first of all, we don't need any of these, and this one needs to be lower. So I'm gonna add another pop-up here. Oops. I'm gonna add another pop-up here saying this is the wrong object. Okay, so now if I try to push that box in there, it'll tell me this is the wrong object, right? And now if I push that onto it, boop, and I can get this one somewhere else. Alright, so that allows you to tell the trigger platform exactly which object is required to trigger it, right? Now we need to do the exact same thing for which usable object it's gonna, activate when it gets activated. And because we don't have any usable object, we won't be able to do that now. And because this video is already 55 minutes long, so I'm not gonna do any usable object right now. And so I guess that was it for this video. Yeah, we now have a pop-up UMG that we can display on screen to let the player know some stuff. And we've learned how to use UMG animations, stuff like this. And we now have a trigger that we can push a box onto to trigger, let's say, a door to open, a wall to break if we use a destructible object, or anything like that. So we can create some puzzle elements into our levels. So yeah, this is gonna be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, remember to like the video, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And don't worry, there's gonna be more videos coming shortly. So, see you next time.